Alright, guys, here. Give me a second. Alright. How are we feeling? How are we feeling, Bears fans? Well, their season was going to end at some point. And it ended this week. Look, I felt like the team won the game they needed to win last week. This is a very tough Rams team. A very, very tough Rams team. You know, at the end of the day, the Rams were a better team than the Bears this season. They went 12-5. The Bears went 11-6. The Bears are at home because they won their division. Again, this playoff format makes sure that divisions and winning your division is important. So the Rams are in Chicago because they didn't win their division. Simple as that. They're the top wild card team, the best team in the NFC that didn't win their division, and they were the second best team in the NFC. That is a really tough Rams team. And for a long time, up until probably the last 3 weeks of the season, the consensus around the league and around general conversation was that the LA Rams were the most complete team in football. There were some cracks that were showing, but before they played Carolina the first time and lost, it was consensus that the Rams were the best team in the NFL. So I am not going to hang my head up, because the Bears lost to a team that, frankly, was better than them and is more experienced, has a more complete roster, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that. They were in the final 8 in the NFL. The final 8 teams that were in the playoffs. Something they haven't been in a place they haven't been in 15 years. At the end of the day, there were a lot of mistakes that this team made that cost them. And they showed their inexperience in this game. And again, I am not going to massively criticize excuse me. I'm not going to tear apart this team tonight. This season is not a season to tear this team apart. This is a season worth remembering in a good way. And they gave us one last amazing memory with one of the greatest throws we've ever seen. Not just by a Bear. That's the best. That Caleb touchdown pass to Cole Kmet's not just the best pass a Bears quarterback has ever thrown. That is one of the best throws in NFL history. Like, I feel pretty confident saying that. On the run from his own 15 to his own 40, or excuse me, from the Rams 15 to the Rams 40. He traveled back 25 yards. And while he's running away, chucks up a prayer. And it is answered by one of the longest tenured Bears in Cole Kmet, making his second career postseason catch. Because he had a chance to get a catch last week. He didn't hold on to the football. I don't think he registered a catch last week. If I'm correct. No, he didn't record a catch last week. In the moment, I thought it was his first playoff catch ever. Turns out it's his second. He had one catch in their playoff game against the Saints 5 years ago. Cole Kmet had 2 catches in overtime. He had 3 catches in the game. The Chicagoland kid, Cole Kmet, gets a moment he won't ever forget. And I could not be happier for him that he gets to make a big play at a moment like this. But there, again, is a lot left on the field. 23 for 42 is Caleb Williams. And I can probably safe bet there's like 7 drops from Bears receivers. It really just... man, it just was not their day. And this game proved that there's still some growing for this team to do, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, there are flash-in-the-pan teams that will make deep runs and then never do anything, you know, and then go right back down to the basement where they have been before sneaking out one year. The 2017 Jaguars are a team that comes to mind. Terrible for years. The Saxonville defense steps in, is amazing. They win a shootout in Pittsburgh, put up 45 points. They have a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter in New England in the AFC Championship game. Can't get it done. And the next season, they are back losing 10 games again. So I don't think that this Bears team is going to be something like that. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I will have to say here, it really, really sucks that in 2 playoff games, after throwing only, 7 interceptions all season, Caleb Williams ends up throwing 5 in the playoffs. 3 of them on 4th down. So, like, they're kind of... It doesn't really... Not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't really... you know, matter much in terms of like the actual game itself. It's like, okay, whether or not he caught it or dropped it, all results in the same. It's just a change of possession. But had a pick in the second half and then a pick in overtime. It really sucks that the season is going to end on a Caleb Williams interception, because he's been so good all season protecting the football. But at the end of the day, that's brutal. And, again, it proves that there is some room for this team to grow. They've had so many amazing memories this season. And they gave us one last one for the road this season. Really, really special what we witnessed from this Bears team this season. And again, regardless of what happens going forward, it's been a wonderful season. A wonderful season. It's been a pleasure talking about this thing with you guys. And anyone who has come into the chat throughout these games. But at the end of the day, it's Caleb Williams ends his 2025-26 campaign with 7 consecutive games throwing for 2 touchdowns. Exactly 2. He was getting 2 touchdowns a game. DJ Moore gets 1 more for the road. He catches a touchdown in both playoff games this season. He ends the year with 8 total touchdowns, regular season and playoffs, to lead all Bears receivers. And then Cole Kmet. Again, I already talked about it, but Cole Kmet with a touchdown. Special, special stuff. They refused to go away. Dylan, I am not going to talk to you tonight. That is an embarrassing. You are just embarrassing yourself. Alright? If you genuinely think this, you know, I highly doubt you genuinely believe this. You know, I'm just not going to address it anymore. You have been saying this for weeks. I do not care. Alright? What other Bears quarterback in history is making that throw to tie the game? Please name me another Bears quarterback who has ever put on that uniform who was making that throw to get this game to overtime. Please, I'd love to know. I would love to know. Because I really don't care that he threw 3 interceptions in this game when he made that play. That's one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life. Caleb Williams had the best season for a Bears quarterback ever. Ever. Alright? And I am ending the conversation there. Ending it. I will not be engaging with you for the rest of the stream. Alright? Bye. It was great knowing you. I really am done putting up with this. Alright? You've been doing this for weeks. Alright? I'm done. I'm done. I'll bite on the rage bait this one time. But that is it. I will not hear anymore. 23 for 42, 257, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. It's his first career 3 interception game, and it was going to happen at some point. It just really sucks that it's this one, man. But again, he won the game that was the most important this postseason. He beat the Packers in the playoffs. He beat the Packers in the playoffs. He was down 18 in the playoffs against the Green Bay Packers, and he won. So, you know, he had a bit of a stinker, but also made the greatest play of the year. Greatest play of the season. I mean, it felt like literally every game for the final month of the season, Caleb Williams was making his greatest throw week in, week out. Like, it was ridiculous. First, there's the throw on the roll to Cole Kmet, followed immediately by a touchdown pass to Olamide Zaccheaus that I still have no idea how it got through against Green Bay and Lambeau. Then the very next week, he throws a touchdown on the run to DJ Moore against the DJ Moore against Cleveland. And then it was DJ Moore against Green Bay. And then it was 4th and 8 to Rome with the game on the line against Green Bay. And then it was the greatest throw by a Bears quarterback ever to tie this game. To tie this game. The greatest throw by a Bears quarterback ever. I would love to see someone pull up a better throw in a more pressurized situation. You know, like, I don't know, right? So, that is, yeah. I'm holding my head up high. This was a phenomenal season. 7 wins this year when the team was trailing in the final 2 minutes. At some point, that isn't luck. At some point, that's not luck. So, when you, like, there's an art to winning close games. Why do you think the Denver Broncos will be playing for an AFC championship next week? Why do you think the Kansas City Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year, despite maybe not being the best Chiefs team we've ever seen? So, yeah, that's just kind of how it is. I don't know, man. Hang on. It's just one of those moments where you see a season end. and you just think about it like, we're not going to remember this season for how it ends. We're going to remember it for all the other beautiful things that happened. This season gave us so many memories. Like, Bears fans, we thought 2018 was amazing. And 2018 was a flash in the pan. You know, that was a great season to watch because that team was pretty dominant. They had a lot of really good wins where they just controlled start to finish. But at the same time, they didn't really have that signature, that signature comeback win. You know, when they were winning games in 2018, they were controlling the game from start to finish. And they beat the Rams. They beat, they beat the Rams, who were 11-1 at that time. But that game itself wasn't necessarily specifically great. It was tied at halftime. But the Bears did enough to win that game. They didn't have to come back from a big deficit. It wasn't necessarily the most thrilling game ever. They won it, which was exciting in itself. And then when it came down to the end, you have a kicker who missed 10 or 11 kicks miss to end your season. So that's what's different about that. The 2018 Bears and the 2025 Bears. The 2025 Bears never quit. The 2025 Bears, doesn't matter what the score was, they were always still going to fight to the final whistle. And they played in so many one-score games this season. You know, it's one of those. It's just. Hang on. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. So, yeah. They played in so many one-score games this year. Once they beat Green Bay, I was like, at some point it's gonna run out, right? You know, at some point there's an art to winning one-score games, and you can't win them all. You know, if you live by how close you keep a game, it's at some point going to catch up to you, right? The Bears were in, let's see, let me count this real quick. 1, 2, 3. 13 one-score games this year. Out of the 19 games the Bears played, 13 were within one score. And if this is any other season, the Bears probably go 4-9 in those games. Not actually, I lied. Probably 3-10 in those games. The Bears won 8-5. With 7 of those wins coming when they were trailing in the final 2 minutes. Need me a Caleb Williams jersey? I do have one, actually. I don't have like an actual one. I have a shirt jersey. Let me go grab it real quick. It's right here. I bought in. I've bought in. I've bought into this culture. I've bought into this coaching staff. I've bought into this quarterback. I've bought into this general manager. I've bought into this ownership group. It's almost like there may have been something that Virginia McCaskey was doing that, you know, felt like it was, you know, there was some sort of something she was doing behind the scenes that prevented this team from truly spending money, because the amount of like stuff I've seen from George McCaskey late this season where like it really does seem like he cares. Like it doesn't feel like he's just one of those owners that's up there and, you know, is flaunting his own ego. There's probably moments where that, you know, feels like it, but, you know, when he's in the tunnel after the Bears beat the Bengals in a thriller, and is pumping his fist, right? Or when he is out at tailgates before a Bears-Packers game, and then he's also grabbing TJ Edwards' helmet and running it back to the locker room when he gets hurt in the wild card game, right? So I'm all in on this quarterback and this coaching staff after the best season for a Bears quarterback ever. Like, statistically, of course, he objectively set the Bears passing record. Feel-wise, absolutely. So, yep. You know, this team, they should... We'll see what happens in the offseason here as we get into the offseason. Right? Got a couple of contracts you got to sign. Got some decisions you got to make. And we'll see what they do in free agency. You know, there is a question of, do they they'll probably try to see if they can get oh my god, a defensive end, an edge rusher to pair with Montez Sweat, or maybe someone who is better, because Trey Hendrickson will be on the market as a free agent too, by the way. You know, a lot of people talk about Max Crosby, but he just signed an extension. You would need to trade for Max Crosby. And we're at a point now where they could totally try and trade for someone like Max Crosby, but they could also pick up someone like Trey Hendrickson. Khalil Mack's possibly on the market again, and he's made some comments about, like, man, that 2018 Chicago team was just special. So we'll see if there's something in the cards. Regardless, the edge position group is very deep in the draft this year. That is the position group that I would take with our first round pick. And I'll tell you what, I feel better about the Chicago Bears going the next season than the team that, you know, hates this. So Jeff Hafley's going to get a coaching job, and that's going to be amazing, because say what you want about how the Packers play without Micah Parsons and that they lost every game, yada, yada, yada. Jeff Hafley knew exactly how to scheme against this Bears team. Those Bears-Packers games this season were amazing. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people who aren't involved in this rivalry were just so excited to see this rivalry played 3 times. And all of them coming down to the last play or virtually the last play. Packers threatened Caleb Williams to beat them with his arm. He did it the first time. But oh boy, he sure did the second 2 times. And he finishes 2-1 against the Packers this season. And, yeah. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough end to this season to lose in the playoffs in a tight game like that. But, it's not like, they blew a 10-point lead. It's not like they blew an 18-point halftime lead. I couldn't think of a Bears team that would blow an 18-point halftime lead. I don't know. Has there been a team that's blown an 18-point halftime lead in the last, 3 years? I'll get back to you on that. Anyways. So, Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus did blow an 18-point lead. He blew a 21-point lead against the Broncos, the Russell Wilson-led Broncos, with Justin Fields as his quarterback. And Justin Fields played his worst football in the fourth quarter, just like he did for every single game in his entire career with Chicago. You know who doesn't? You know who plays his best football in the fourth quarter every single game? Caleb Williams. You wonder why Bears fans have attached to this quarterback and not the quarterback that the team cut. Or, well, no, they traded him. Sorry. They didn't cut Justin Fields. They traded him. So, yeah. There's a reason why Caleb's more successful than Justin. Caleb Williams doesn't need to play ahead the entire game to win. Justin Fields needed to play ahead the entire game to win. That guy could not lead a comeback drive in the fourth quarter. When he was trailing in the fourth quarter, that guy could not lead a drive down to get the Bears to lead. It just wasn't happening. So, it's just unfortunate. And that's the thing. Justin Fields was always so... He was so bad at throwing across the middle of the field. The in routes over the middle, down the field. It was just... He couldn't do it. He was pretty good at hitting the sideline balls. Those were some of his best passes, were down the sideline or one-on-one coverage down the field. But when you're talking about in rhythm, in structure, crossers in the middle of the field, could not hit him. Couldn't hit him. Just was not his thing. Caleb Williams could do that right away. And that was one of the signs at earliest where I was like, this is already an improvement. And we saw the beginnings of Iceman earlier this season, or last season. Sorry, not earlier this season. Last season. I mean, seriously, there's been a game or two where Caleb Williams has not played really that good for the first three quarters, but has played really, really good in the fourth quarter and has gotten this team a win. He did that against Washington. Was terrible the first three quarters. Off of a bye. Couldn't do anything. And in the fourth quarter, team takes the lead with 30 seconds to go. He's not on the field for a Hail Mary attempt. Ends up losing. He gets the team into field goal range against the Packers at home in a third on 19. Two passes back-to-back to Rome Odunze for a first down. It's a 46-yard field goal for the win. Gets blocked. Finds a way. You think about this franchise, and you just think about the one-year turnaround where it's like the Bears were a bunch of losers, right? Not losers in the sense that the guys were terrible people or anything. Just from a strictly win-loss standpoint, the Bears were historically losers when Caleb Williams got here. Matt Eberflus was a loser. Shane Waldron was a loser, right? And Caleb Williams did everything in his power to try and make them winners. And yet there was some outside force, it feels like, that kept this team losers. Caleb Williams in the middle of a game-tying drive against the Lions on Thanksgiving, and his head coach is so dumb he doesn't even call a timeout after a sack. Are you serious? And then he finally gets a win with an interim head coach against the Packers. I really do think that game is more important than some people might realize. That game was the first in a while where it not only did they just beat the Packers for the first time in 6 years, it was it was overcoming Green Bay, winning at Lambeau, and finding a way to win a close game, right? Maybe you needed to get a little bit lucky. It feels like you just needed to get one close win, and then the rest would start coming. And then when it came to Ben Johnson, he loses his first. It loses his first game of the year and blows a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Not a good start. Gets stomped by the Lions to start. Really not a good start. Then they find a way to beat the Cowboys. Caleb Williams with 4 touchdown passes. Perfection in that game. Then they win an ugly game against the Raiders with a blocked field goal. Again, it felt like they just needed to find a way to win an ugly game, regardless of who, what, how. Find a way to come out on the winning side of a close game, and the rest of them would start coming. They beat Washington 2 weeks later on a bit of an ugly game with the elements, but Jay Daniels fumbled the ball. The Bears go down and go win the game. And then it's the Bears blowing a 14-point lead to the Bengals in 2 minutes after an onside kick, and then they go down and win the game anyways. It felt like those 3 games specifically were the Bears exercising one-score game, heartbreaking, like they were finding ways to win games that so many other Bears teams would have found ways to lose, right? And then the rest of the wins start coming, right? So, hi JRF. Good to see you, man. It's been a while since you've been in one of these. I don't know, have you been in one of these streams? Good to see you, man. Come on, what do you guys want for Caleb Williams? We need a stud. What do you mean we need a stud? We already got one. And he wears 18. Alright, bro, I know you just because you saw I was here. I gotta learn to do a false sense of security. This is new. Yeah. What? Oh, dude, I'm just saying that they won against the Cowboys, just like they won against the Eagles. Like, winning against the Cowboys was just to avoid the 0-3 hole, that the 0-3 death pit that only the Texans have ever come out of, right? And then beating the Eagles was a win against a quality team on the road by 2 scores. Right? Like, that's one of the... Yeah, no, you guys did have the worst... You did have, like, the worst defense. Like, no. Like, there was a lot of personal... There was personal there, too, because it was Matt Eberflus as well, and there was a lot of guys that wanted their get-back game. They wanted some revenge on Matt Eberflus, and they got it. Like, that was the reason why the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs. Their offense was spectacular this season. One of the best in the league. Like, they were, again... They were one of the best offenses in football, one of the best passing offenses, near the top of the league in points per game, yards per game. The rushing offense was still top 10, even though it wasn't top 5. Like, terrible, terrible, terrible defense. Generationally awful in pass coverage. They couldn't stop anything. So that's why they lost. Like, this year's Cowboys team was parallel to those mid-2010s Saints teams where Drew Brees was playing so well and lights out year in, year out, but the defense was so bad they ended up going 7-9. Texans defense, dude, Texans versus Cowboys would have been pretty sweet this year. Just Cowboys offense versus Texans defense. and then Texans offense versus Cowboys defense. Like, that would have been crazy. And then, yeah, you combine Texans defense and Cowboys offense, that's a Super Bowl winning team right there. That's a Super Bowl caliber team. CJ Stroud, man. Like, it's hilarious because even though Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions in this game, that's not the most turnovers by a quarterback today. Not even for the round today. Because Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times yesterday. CJ Stroud threw 4 interceptions today. And then Drake May fumbled the football 4 times in their game. He only lost 2, but still fumbled it 4 times. So, you know, it's not like Caleb Williams was the only quarterback in the NFL to not, you know, protect the football. You know, every quarterback was struggling at some point. Matt Stafford was really put on one of the better performances for any quarterback this weekend. Even though his completion percentage wasn't great, he was sacked 4 times. Oh, was CJ Stroud's press conference bad? Was it really that bad? Yeah. I don't know, man. What did CJ say? Oh, you know what? Here we go. Patriots, yeah. All right, here we go. Well, let's pull some stuff up here. Real quick. Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick. That is... Yep, there we go. Can we just... All right, I gotta... Hang on, I gotta... Oh, all right. Let me resize this window because I forgot I changed it at the end of the last stream to watch good, better, best. Okay. I want to shrink this up top a little more. Yeah, there we go. All right. Can I say that this is just gold? This is just hilarious. Oh, actually, I should move this back up. Bro has the audacity to laugh at this loss when this was the last thing he ever did in a Bears uniform. Literally kick the ball to the other team. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Velus Jones, you are a bum. You stink at football. Hold on to the ball. You know, learn how to hold on to the football, the thing that you've been working on the last, you know, right? And yeah, you have no room to talk, Velus. You have no room to talk. You were consistently the worst football player out on the field for the Chicago Bears. And that is saying something with the teams that you played on. Consistently. I'm letting this run because this is exactly the perfect encapsulation of your career in Chicago. This was the first game with the new kickoff rules. And you are so inept when you have this big of a cushion that you literally kick the ball from the 5-yard line to the 25. All right, I do not want to hear it, Velus. I do not want to hear it. You got pity carries in a blowout playoff game against the San Francisco 49ers. You didn't earn anything. You didn't earn anything. All right? And that's that. So there it is. Really, the Bears will get... Actually, I'm curious. Yeah. Worst record. Ah, okay. Strength of schedule. Okay. So, yeah, we got the 25th overall pick. I mean, that's what you get for, you know, getting eliminated in the divisional round, but at the same time, edge position group is real deep. Things going to be good. And here, yeah, Infante makes a good point here. This was a bit of a shaky performance. Ben Johnson was not very good in the playoffs. Like, his coaching was not great. Very aggressive. A little bit of damn Campbell. Yeah. What? They were 2 for 6 on 4th down against the Packers. In this game, they were... Where is it? Where's 4th down efficiency? It is 3 for 6. So, yeah. So, they got to be better on 4th down. You know, and I know Caleb threw 5 interceptions in 2 games in the playoffs. 3 of them were on 4th down. You know, it's like make a play, just throw it. But I don't know. Defenses were really being opportunistic in the divisional round across the league here. It wasn't just Caleb. Josh Allen was picked off twice. He fumbled twice. C.J. Stroud threw 4 interceptions. Drake May fumbled it 4 times, lost 2 fumbles. And I think he threw, didn't he throw? No, he didn't throw an interception. But, yeah. Let's see. Hey, Swifty, 4 yards a carry. Not the best. I got to give a lot of credit to the Rams defense. I got to give a lot of credit to that Rams defense, which I thought was good. The Rams defense is a good defense. But they are the reason they won this football game. I thought that this was going to be the part and the point where the Bears season was going to come to an end. I really genuinely did feel like this was going to be the game and the team that would knock the Bears out. You know, the second best team in the NFC. Better record than the Bears too. 12-5 as opposed to 11-6. So, yeah, I was just not expecting it being the defense that was the reason why the Bears would be eliminated, right? Like, I was not expecting the Rams defense to be the reason why. Dude, that flip was fun. Swift tried pretty. Swift and Monungai were doing what they could, but and what's funny is that despite the struggles and Kyle Monungai going for 2.8 a carry, DeAndre Swift going for 4 a carry, and the Bears having like 3 runs of 10 plus yards, they still ran for 160 yards, which is hilarious. The Bears this season, in the regular season, averaged 144.5 rush yards a game, which was 3rd in the NFL. Like, despite all that, they still went for 160 yards. So, that's kind of funny. Colston Loveland, 4 catches, 56 yards on 10 targets. Colston had like 3 or 4 drops. Colston has been on such a heater. Such a heater since week 9. He's been amazing. End of the season as the Bears leading receiver. That's what I'm trying to say. And, you know, it was just not his game. Not, you know, it kind of caught up. You know, there was a little bit of, the rookie mistakes were there early, and then the rookie mistakes were back here in the playoffs, unfortunately. Luther Burden had a drop or 2. DJ Moore, I don't think DJ Moore had a drop. Roma Dunze had a drop or 2. And it's really frustrating because Roma Dunze had such a great start to the year. and just tapered off. I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Rome Odunze, but at the end of the year. But I'm gonna hold off on the Rome Odunze slander until if he continues to struggle to start next year, because maybe he was starting to have that foot injury and it was nagging a little bit and affecting stuff. But I'm not gonna. It's not an excuse. He's got to be better. He's a 9th overall pick. He's got to be better, right? The 2 touchdowns were a fluke. I would be inclined to agree the last touchdown of the game was a fluke, if I didn't see this stuff from Caleb Williams all season long. If he didn't hit that 4th and 8 pass last week against Green Bay, if he doesn't, fade away, 1 foot, back foot to Jade Walker to tie the game against Green Bay, Jade Walker to tie the game against Green Bay 4 weeks ago, if he wasn't doing this on a regular basis, I'd call it a fluke. That was no fluke. That was no fluke. That was season on the line. Gotta let your guy get at least a chance. And guess what? Kobe Durant was also holding a little bit anyways. He just chucked it up. Give his guy a shot. If it goes out of bounds, it goes out of bounds. Call it fluky. Call it lucky. Doesn't matter. It happened. It happened. And it's going to keep happening going forward. Dylan, just accept you're homophobic and go away. I'm serious with this. I can't. There is no logical reason. There is no logical reason. Just say that you don't like that Caleb Williams paints his nails and go on with it. Go on with your life. I don't care. Because a lot of people really want to say that, but try to use every other excuse in the book to just say that they're just to try and be like, the ego. Caleb Williams does not have an ego, bro. Not anymore. Maybe he did in college. Maybe he did in his rookie year. You see his press conferences. You see the way that he addressed the team in the post-game locker room after getting a game ball. That's not ego at all. That dude's gotten so humbled through his first year in the NFL, and probably by Ben Johnson, being a guy that's going to tell him that he sucks, or being a guy that's going to tell him when he makes a mistake, unlike his dad. There's a lot to be said about Caleb Williams' character growth this season. I even halfway through the year, I had seen some people talk about I think he's just got too big of an ego. Is he going to slander his teammates? They weren't convinced. But the guy is a team. The guy has been a leader. So, yeah. Just say that you think that he's gay and you don't like that and you're homophobic and go on with your life. I'm sorry. At this point, just come out and just let it all out. Because there's no way you genuinely think that he just is a bad quarterback. Because that's just factually untrue. Top 10 in passing yards this season. Has the literal fewest interceptions thrown in a QB's first 1,000 career passing attempts in NFL history. And by a good margin, too. So, I don't want to hear just, he's a bad quarterback. Dude has been clutch all season. So, yeah. Zacchaeus, I think he had a drop. Hell, if Caleb Williams throws touchdowns like that, fluke or not, he can... Oh, yeah. The amount of guys in Chicago, real guys that, you can tell are I don't know about the fingernail pain and all that stuff, have been swayed by just the fact that, guess what? He ends up winning more often than not right now. He has won more games against the Packers in his career than Jay Cutler, Mitch Trubisky, and Justin Fields combined. Or, well, the same amount of games against the Packers as Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, and Jay Cutler. Where is it in the rule book that painting nails is not allowed in the NFL? Where's that in the rule book? I'd love for you to pull up the actual rule that states that, because last I checked, that's a fully legal thing to do, and it doesn't affect a QB's play at all. Last time I checked, painting your fingernails or wearing any sort of chain, giant chain or any other accessory doesn't affect your actual play on the field. That's the last time I checked. I will give you, I respect that you actually are coming out and just admitting to being homophobic. And not just, a guy that's just trying to troll and trying to hate on Caleb Williams, but an actual piece of shit, too. You're actually homophobic and a piece of shit. You know that, right? Like I'm not afraid to call you out for saying that. For being a homophobic POS. I bet you really loved the Tyler Dunn article that came out before the season that really had some real homophobic undertones about how Caleb Williams, the glitzy gazelle, sashays back to the sideline. So, yeah. You aren't just a troll and a rage baiter. You're an actual piece of shit. I hope you know that. And be better, because guess what? It's 2026. In the grand 2026, we are still being homophobic. I cannot believe this. Yeah, you must be really fun at parties, Dylan. You must be really fun. So, yeah, I don't know. I know who my quarterback is, and I don't care what they do. They win games, don't matter. Did you think about how the national media has talked about Caleb Williams? They're criticizing this and that, and constantly under a microscope. He's not going to be a leader. His body language is bad on the sidelines. He's not going to be a team player. He's got an ego. He paints his fingernails. Oh my gosh, my fragile view of masculinity is broken. Oh no! I have a quarterback who's doing something so effeminate as painting his nails. I can't believe this. How can I root for a guy who's so feminine? And it's not me. I'm so masculine. I can't root for a guy like that. It just makes me so mad. Where are the God-fearing, where are the red-blooded patriots and the real quarterbacks out there? Not this gay quarterback from USC. Oh. You sound like a complainer. I'm sorry. That's what you sound like. That's what the media sounded like going into the season. And now that Caleb Williams is starting to win, where's all this talk about the bad leadership or the ego or who in the mainstream media is actually giving two shits about painting some fingernails? Oh wait, no one cares because he's winning. Isn't that just crazy how people just stop criticizing when you start winning? Isn't that just hilarious? So, yeah. I know what the truth is. And the truth is that the Chicago Bears have a franchise quarterback. Whether you like it or not. Whether you want him to be the franchise quarterback or not. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys, just in time for MLK Day. Yeah, just in time for MLK Day. Yeah, we all get a long weekend. So, anyways, let's talk about the actual game and not about this trivial garbage about what my quarterback decides to do. Oh no. He wears wired headphones and drinks matcha. Oh, why can't he just pick himself up by his bootstraps, wear a cowboy hat to every single game with a suit, and drink his coffee black like everyone else? Oh, he's so effeminate. I could never. You're just embarrassing yourself. It shows that you are so insecure about your masculinity that you have to remind people constantly that I don't support this. He's not a real man. Shut up. You know who doesn't care? You know who really just could not care less about any of that? The guys on the frickin' Chicago Bears. The guys on the team. Like, let's look at this. The guy is running for his life. This is the first time, this is one of the few times all year where protection's broken down so bad that he's actually running for his life like this. He is setting and just has to go. There is no tomorrow. He has to throw it here. It's a 50-yard dot. Dot. Like, oh my god. And to think that goes down as just a 14-yard pass. Just a 14-yard pass. So. Alright. Good to see you, JRF. Good to see you, man. Glad you could stop in for one of these streams, man. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad you were able to finally show up for one of them. Good luck to your Cowboys in the offseason. Hopefully Jerry Jones doesn't do anything stupid like he did last offseason. But, yeah. I love how I had to spend 15 minutes talking about something super trivial instead of focusing on the fact that my team season's over and thinking about the actual reasons on why they lost, and not some trivial BS for some rage bait. All right, so I don't know, man. I'm really confident about where this team is headed next season. They can... It all depends to me on what decisions they make in the offseason here. Who is coming back? Who is not? Who they decide to sign? Here. Let's go here and then... here, or actually, let's go to over the cap. Actually, no, this is good. Actually, over the cap. Let's do this. Oh, what the hell? That is not what I was looking for. Yeah, we'll go here. And then here's NFL free agents. We'll peruse this here. Extend this out a little bit so we can get the rest of this here. Oh, look who's the top free agent this year in the off season. A little guy on the edge named Trey Hendrickson. I swear to God, if the Bears land Trey Hendrickson, they're going to have to give up a fortune for him. Khalil Mack's also available. He's also a free agent. Wait, let's see. Christian Kirk. Let's see edge. Let's just go edge rushers. Hendrickson, Mack, Reddick, your top three. Joey Bosa, they shouldn't sign. That guy took a terrible roughing the passer call to end that game yesterday. Leonard Floyd, we already had him. You don't bring him back. Denico Autry's part of that Houston Texans defense. When it comes to free agents, it's pretty much Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack, and if you want to give Hassan Reddick a shot, you do. You go D lineman. The list is not nearly as amazing, right? You go for maybe someone like David Onyemata. Maybe you go for a guy like DJ Reader or Larry Ogunjobi. But Rams fan, GG Bears, y'all for real. Dude, seriously, we were playing with house money. You guys got a complete football team. I was like, I was in a position where I was just not I was not expecting this Bears team to, or if I was going to put money on it and I was going to predict, and you go back into my predictions video, I had this game as a divisional round before the playoffs started, and I picked the Rams to win because the Rams are the better football team. I really did think that the Bears defense was going to be the difference maker. The only reason the Bears were going to have a shot would be if Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams were held in check. And for the most part, they were. The Rams defense stepped up huge. If the Bears were going to lose this game, I was not going to expect that the Rams defense playing out of their minds was going to be the reason why. So, yeah. And you talk about the Bears' contracts going into next year. Tremaine Edmonds is going to be a free agent. That's going to be an important signing. Whether or not they decide to keep Tremaine Edmonds. It's going to be a really interesting... that's just the deal that they have. Okay. End year. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, we'll go here. So, let's see. Here we go. Here are the guys that are having their stuff. Nakobe Dean's a free agent. Oh, Nakobe Dean's good. Ooh, that would be a good pickup. Byard's deal's up. He will 100% get re-signed. They should re-sign him. He led the league in interceptions this season. Simple as that, and he's a massive leader for this Bears defense. Kevin Byard will get an extension, and if he doesn't, I will be genuinely shocked. Andrew Billings, as much as I love my big man Billings, and how much of a bit of a meme he's become, I am just... It's sad because I know that Andrew Billings is going to be off the team next year, and it's just not going to be the same. So, Jaquan Brisker, an extension year. He's probably going to get an extension with how he played tonight. Jaquan Brisker played probably his best game as a pro. He was really good in this game. When you look at this box score, led the team in tackles, 14. He had more solo tackles than any other guy on the Bears had total. Right? And oh, by the way, he had a sack, a tackle for loss, and 2 passes defended, along with a QB hit. Right there. Jaquan Brisker's stat line, he played out of his mind tonight. He was phenomenal. And that is the type of game that's going to get you an extension. Joe Tryon is a rental that we got at the deadline. He probably won't be back. Jonathan Owens, I don't know. They might give him a small extension. But I don't know. DeMarco Jackson, really, he's been with the team for 4 years? DeMarco Jackson's deserved an extension. I think so. A cheap extension, right? I think he's become a solid, like a really, really great third linebacker option. He's emerged as a really great replacement for when something goes wrong defensively. Because Noah Sewell started the year as our linebacker 3. He never really got to that point where I felt comfortable of him as a true like third linebacker. But DeMarco Jackson filled that role towards the end of the year. After we got Sewell, Edmonds, and Edwards all hurt, and it was him and Amen Ogbamamiga, DeMarco Jackson stepped up big time. So I give him a lot of credit. He probably, I would not be surprised if he comes back. Dominique Robinson's probably not coming back. Elijah Hicks, I probably wouldn't expect coming back. Durham Smythe on a 1-year rental. Dude is the fullback for the Bears at this point. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they signed him to a cheap deal again. Case Keenum, we'll have to see. Travis Homer's probably not back. Olamide Zaccheaus, probably not back. He had a big touchdown in the playoff game last week. But yeah. Nick McLeod, not going to be back. I wouldn't think so. Jalen Jones, probably not. Devin Duvernay might be back next year. While he didn't return one of the house, he had a couple that were very important. Devin Duvernay, it's a stark contrast from Velus Jones. Devin Duvernay, he lost handle of the ball in one punt this game. Still managed to get it out to the 20. So the guy is a very reliable set of hands when receiving punts. But he is clearly past his prime. Oh my God! Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me with. Don't tempt me with Money Mitch. Money Mitch, a QB room in Chicago. Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, Mitchell Trubisky, Mitch Homecoming? Oh my God, dude. I would love to see Money Mitch back in Chicago, but honestly, I don't think Mitch would want to be back in Chicago. Chicago chased Mitch Trubisky out of the city, and They treated him pretty poorly in Chicago. I'm not going to lie. The city treated Mitch Trubisky pretty poorly. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a little bit bitter. Of course, when a mic's in his face, he will, be like, appreciate my time there. That's when, he'll say some nice things. But I think he has found a much better home and a much more loving community in Buffalo. So while I think it would be great, I love Mitch. As a person, he's a great guy. Yeah. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I don't know if he's going to be back. He was a really, really, really good pickup at the deadline. Like, surprisingly good. What's up, Patrick? And then Nahshon Wright's definitely going to get an extension. Nahshon Wright's 100% getting an extension. The way he played this year, like he might have been a bit of Trevon Diggs when he, had all those interceptions and then let up all those yards. But he played a pretty strong game tonight. Devontae Adams was not really in the mix, and that was because Nahshon Wright was doing a good job covering him. He's grown so much as a player. I feel pretty confident having him back on the Chicago Bears next season. Daniel Hardy, maybe not. Theo Benedict, maybe not. And then we kind of get into the next year guys. Tremaine Edmonds is on a contract next year. DeAndre Swift in a contract year next year. Dexter and Stevenson both in contract years. Josh Blackwell should get another extension. That guy, special team legend. I love Josh Blackwell. Blocked a punt, recovered an onside kick this year. Oh, I love Josh Blackwell. Amen. We'll see. Roschon on a rookie deal. Noah Sewell on a rookie deal. Terrell Smith. Dude, I totally forgot about Terrell Smith. Like, this is when you know, like, I'm way too far into the deep end here. When I think that Terrell Smith was a huge loss for this team. The guy's a backup, but he's their top backup cornerback. And he was lost for the year with a torn ACL on a preseason game. And knowing the injuries that this secondary went through this season, Terrell Smith would have been amazing to have. But then you got guys like Sweat, Johnson, Jackson, Kmet, Odengbo, Jarrett, Dahlman, Tooney, Wright, Edwards, Santos, Bagent, Amagaji, Taylor, Booker, Walker, Hankins, Gord, all going to, yeah. All right. It was good to see you, Junior. Have a good night. And then you get to some of these rookie contracts going forward, right? Like, yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see, but I think that there are some great pieces here in Chicago. I think that there is a real future for the Chicago Bears. A real future. So, I don't know. Let's see. Any other things that I really want to talk about here? At least as it pertains to this game. Before I kind of get into a couple of postseason things. Gotta give a shout out to Cam Curl. The guy played great. 13 tackles, 7 solo. 2 PBUs. Had a pick. Nate Landman. Let's go Buffs. Nate Landman. I'll forever have a soft spot for him. He was like the best player on the first team that I ended up watching as a student. So massive credit to Nate Landman. He's had a great couple seasons. Kobe Durant got 2. Oh, damn. He got 2 of them. Wow. See some of the team stats here. Bears ran more total plays. Dude, like, despite all of this, the Bears still had 417 total yards of offense, 160 yards on the ground, and over 250 passing yards. Like, that's just a weird thing. Like, it feels like you're kind of gritting your teeth watching this offense sometimes, but like 400 total yards of offense on 2 fewer drives. Damn. But, you know, at the end of the day, 3 interceptions, or well, it, 2, So 2 failed 4th down conversions and 3 interceptions because one of them was on the 4th down. So that's 5 possessions. You know, that makes sense on why they only scored 17. So. So, yeah. Very clean game, too. Just, oh my God. Just 4 penalties across both sides. Like, this was a very clean football game. Both teams 2 for 3 in the red zone. Like, it's just the 4th down inefficiency, the turnovers, and that's really it. The Bears clean it. It's like, the Bears are a team that is young. They're hungry. They've got a lot to play for going forward. The Rams are an experienced team with an experienced quarterback, with experienced receivers. They've been in this position before. They've won a Super Bowl with this quarterback. They've been to 2 Super Bowls with this head coach. Like, this is an experienced Rams team. And the Bears went toe-to-toe with them and pushed them to overtime. So, I feel confident going forward that this team can still... That this season, and especially the last month, has proven that this team can hang with anybody. The only team in the league that they probably couldn't hang with is the team that they would have played in the NFC Championship, the Seattle Seahawks. They, regardless, Seattle looked so good yesterday that I don't think there's a single team in the league that can beat them. The only team left in the play, going into the divisional round, the only team I really thought that could beat the Seahawks were the LA Rams. Now, I really do think the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks are the 2 most complete teams in the NFL, most well-rounded rosters. So I got the Bears playing pretty well next year. Their schedule is it ain't super easy. I'll say that. I mean, when you look at the opponents next year, it's the AFC East. So you got to play Drake May. You got to play Josh Allen on the road. By the way, you get Drake May at home. You got to play Josh Allen on the road, and you get the Jets and the Dolphins. So those are 2 games that you should probably win. You get the NFC South though, but maybe the Falcons are a bit of an upstart team with Kevin Stefanski with that core. You got to play the Panthers on the road. You do get Tampa Bay at home, which we'll see when in the season that is, and what Tampa team shows up. You should beat the Saints again, but that's a pretty scrappy Saints team. And of course you got the 6 games in your division, which the division again. Every team in the NFC North finished every team in the NFC North finished above 500. It is not going to be an easy division. And because the Bears finished first in the division, they draw a first-place schedule, which is only 3 games. A lot of people were talking, like, this season especially, I saw a lot of people, not just with the Bears, but, like, the Patriots and the Niners and the Broncos, like, talking about, like, the 4th place or the 3rd place schedule. It's just cakewalk. I'm like, guys, it's 3 games. There's only 3 games a year that are determined by what place you finish in your division. And funnily enough, the Bears, despite finishing 4th in their division last year, drew the 49ers. So, yeah. They get the Jags and the Eagles at home, and they get the Seahawks on the road. So, they're not going to be taken lightly next season. That's the thing with the run like this. It's what happened with the Washington Commanders last year. It's what happened with the Jaguars in 2017. It's what happened with the Lions in 2023. nobody in the NFL is going to overlook the Chicago Bears next season. We're past the point of surprise. The element of surprise is gone, right? You get one season where, things go your way, maybe. You catch a couple teams by surprise. They're not prepared for certain things. Teams will be much more prepared. The Bears will not be if the Bears are in the divisional round next season, it will not be because they win 7 games after trailing in the final 2 minutes. It will be because they end up winning a couple more games in a comfortable way, right? They're not going to be, again, they played 19 games this season. 13 of them were 1-score games. If the Bears can win a couple more 2+ score games next year, I think we'll all feel a lot better. Because at the end of the day, despite the 11 wins, they won 3 games by more than... Nope, I lied. They won 4 games. Sorry, they won 4 games by more than 1 score. Dallas, New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. So, the big question next year is they need to find a way to start faster. There's so many things for this team to improve, and we've been saying it all year. There's just so many things that this team can consistently improve on, and that's what gets me excited and hopeful going forward, is that the Bears still won a playoff game for the first time in 15 years. Beat the Packers in the playoffs. They found a way to win this season despite some shortcomings. Maybe a bit of a talent. Gordon, did I already say Gordon? I don't know. It felt like they had most of their guys, if not everybody. Yeah, like TJ Edwards was really the only piece that was missing from this Bears team. So, yeah. When it comes to the starters next year, I'm really interested to see what happens with the defensive side of the ball. Because I think offensively, this team is set. This is the core going forward, whether you like it or not. This is what's going to happen. It's going to be Caleb Williams at the helm. It's going to be DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Luther Burden as the top 3 receivers on this team. It's going to be DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai in the backfield. It's going to be Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet as your tight ends. It's just how it's going to go. You're going to have Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, Darnell Wright starting again next year. I would say Trapillo as well, but he did have that patellar injury at the end of their game against Green Bay, so that's a bad one, and I think it's a full tear, so it's going to take a long time for him to recover. I don't think he'll be good to go next year. Maybe at all, right? So you probably end up losing Trapillo, which really stinks. So, this offense is set. This offensive core is set in stone. We got 3 rookies who are vital parts of this team. Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and Kyle Monangai. And they will continue to be as they get better going forward. Again, Kyle Monangai ran for over 750 yards. Colston Loveland over 700 receiving yards. Luther Burden over 600 receiving yards. All in their rookie seasons. They're just going to get better. I'd think. You'd think, right? And then you have Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams going into year 3. DJ Moore going into year 4 with Chicago. You've got Cole Kmet going into year 7 as a backup tight end now, but also a very vital tight end spot. And then, what else? That's kind of it. Defensively is where things get a little bit more questionable, because this defense right now is what was constructed by Matt Eberflus, largely still, right? Sweat, Edmonds, Edwards, so Brisker and Gordon as well, right? Because they were picks right before Matt Eberflus' first season. I feel like there will be decisions made to keep or trade away certain players on this defense, because Dennis Allen wants some other guys that are going to scheme fit better, right? He wants the talent that he thinks he can win with, right? So, we will definitely be seeing Montez Sweat back. Austin Booker will be back. Grady Jarrett will be back. Probably is just the fourth D lineman, because then you'll get a rookie edge, or you'll trade for an edge rusher, or maybe sign guy in free agency. You're gonna sign someone on the defensive line who is going to start week 1 next year. Because Gervon Dexter, while he's still on a rookie deal, played himself out of a second contract in the last couple months. And I hate to say it, because I was really looking forward to Gervon Dexter going into this year. I had a kind of high hopes. I felt pretty good about him. But overrunning failing to pick up 2 fumble recoveries. He got a handful of sacks, but dude, the only way that Gervon Dexter was getting sacks this season was when the quarterback was holding on the ball for 5 seconds. He was not that great at putting pressure on the quarterback. Austin Booker has kind of played himself into a starting role next season, probably. Fringe starting role, honestly. We'll see what they end up doing. Jalen Johnson will be back. Kyler Gordon. I'm really looking forward to I hope that this team starts the season next year fully healthy in the secondary with Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker, and whoever wins that third spot, whether it's Tyreek Stevenson or Nashawn Wright. Because I expect Nashawn Wright to be re-signed. And then we'll see what happens in the linebacking core. We'll see what happens. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways, any final questions or comments before we wrap things up for the season? And I'll get working on my reaction video, and we'll get that up, and we'll enjoy the rest of the playoffs. We'll enjoy the rest of January, and we'll watch the Super Bowl having fun. And frankly, it's whoever, in my opinion, whoever ends up winning the NFC Championship is going to be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think the Patriots are a good team. I think that they would be punching above their weight with an AFC Championship. And that's the unfortunate thing with the Patriots team. And that's one thing where I'm also thinking about trying to think about the bright side of this game. Of this game, is that if the Bears had gone all the way to the Super Bowl and lost this year, right? There's so much pressure on the team to get back there, or at least to the conference championship game again the next season, because they went to the Super Bowl, right? There's a lot of pressure. I still feel like we can look back on this season as not, and I hope that in 5 years we look back on the 2025 Chicago Bears as a team that started a contending window, and not as a team that this was their best shot with this quarterback, this head coach, this defensive coordinator, this ownership group, this GM, whatever, right? Ownership groups, I shouldn't have said that. McCaskies aren't going to sell the Bears. They're not. It's not happening. But you get my point. I hope in 5 years that we look at this team as the start of something special, and not this was a flash in the pan, everything just went right for them this season type of a team. And I truly think that this team is going to be in the mix going forward. I really don't think that this is a one-year wonder team like the 2018 Bears. The coach, I think, is better than the guy that was there in 2018. The offense is better. The defense can be improved upon, but I think they have the right coordinator, because the Bears lost Vic Fangio after the 2018 season, and it was all downhill after that. That defense wasn't the same, despite the same guys. Chuck Pagano was not the defensive coordinator to succeed Vic Fangio. Bottom line. So, I don't know, man. I'm feeling fine with this result, because the Patriots, if they go to the Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Patriots to put up a similar season outcome next year, right? And it's their Super Bowl path this year is going to be playoffs Justin Herbert, who has not ever won a playoff game, Divisional round C.J. Stroud, who has never won a divisional game, and Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game. It's not necessarily a gauntlet. But at the same time, winning playoff games in the NFL is hard. It is just hard to do so. Just like winning in the NFL is hard at all. Winning a game in the NFL is hard. Regardless of, like, it's the any given Sunday shtick was more apparent this year than plenty of years prior. So, you know, it's been a really crazy season. And I'm glad that the Bears gave us one last memory to take home with us for this offseason. And I love to know that I'm not dreading this offseason. I'm excited to see what this team can do. I know that we're not going to see any hit pieces. I know that we're not going to see mainstream media constantly talk, bad about this organization. We're going to see people. The only thing that really I think a lot of people are going to question is this team going to be more complete? Is this team going to live and die by the fourth quarter? Is this team going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat every other week? I'm inclined to say no. So, yeah. Anyways, the Bears season has come to a close. First playoff win in 15 seasons. It's a special year. It's the best year in my time watching the Chicago Bears. Now, to be fair, that has been like 13 years, going back to the 2013 season. But, unequivocally, the best Bears seasons stumbling through the sentences, man. Unequivocally, the best Bears season I have watched. From season outcome to how they get to that point to, I don't know. So, yeah. Dylan, you are a terrible person. You are a terrible person. Go have fun being homophobic this offseason, and that's that. You will not be back on this channel again. So I'm sorry that you are so caught up over some guy painting their fingernails, because guess what? Caleb Williams has been doing it since he was in high school because his mom was a nail tech. So it was something his mom did for him. Would you let your mom do that? Oh, wait, you wouldn't, because it ruins your fragile view of masculinity. Anyways, get out of this channel. Never come back. And, bye. Anyways, we're talking Hawks on Tuesday. We gotta worry about the Hawks going forward. Damn, dude, this season was so much fun. I'm now thinking about it. I'm like, damn, dude, we gotta think about the Hawks going forward. They're about to hit the All-Stars / Olympics break. But still, it's like, damn. GG's Rams. You guys are a hell of a team. The NFC Championship is going to be between the two best teams in the NFC. And I'm very excited to watch that game. That thing is going to be the two games in the regular season were great. The home team won both. I'm excited to watch the NFC Championship. And we'll see who ends up lifting the Lombardi Trophy in about a little less than a month. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Enjoy MLK Day. Enjoy the rest of January. All that wonderful stuff. Bear down, man. I've never been happier to be a Bears fan after the end of a season. Seriously. When the double doink happened, I was just glad that no one in my high school knew that I was a Bears fan the next day. Because there was someone who was getting grilled a little bit in one of my classes, and I was just like, I'm not saying a word. I could I need to be proud of watching this team and being a fan of this team. This team has been so much fun to watch. It's sad that it's end, but all good things must come to an end at some point. You know, at the end of the day, 31 teams end the season without lifting the Lombardi Trophy. And yeah. Anyways, it's a great season, man. This Bears team will be back. We'll see what they can do in 2026. And I'm very optimistic about the future. But it's going to be a tough road to getting back here next year. That division, they're not going to take to this lightly. You have pissed off 2 fan bases in the NFC North. Packers fans hate you again. Truly hate you again. Good, by the way. And Lions fans now truly hate you. So, yeah. And then the Vikings are there. Like, I'm kind of like... It's funny because I'm kind of a little bit indifferent to the Vikings, but I still have never liked the Vikings. But NFC North's about to be a bloodbath next year. We'll see if the Bears come out on top again. But a special year. Special year, man. I won't ever forget this season, and neither should you. A lot of great memories, a lot of great plays. I mean, this was one of the most fun teams to watch. So, it'll be Bear down forever. I'll be holding up the Bear claw. This is now the symbol. I'm hitting the Bear claw. We have Iceman on our side. And we have a real head coach. This team isn't going to be a one-year wonder. They are going to be a problem for years to come. So thank you all for tuning into any of these streams this season. And, yeah. It's been great to do these. We'll see how it happens in the fall. Like, I did these because I had the time to do these live streams and on top of the reactions this season. We'll see if that's the case next year. If not, these were incredibly fun to do. And yeah, it gets a little bit more personable interaction with you wonderful people on the internet. So, we are going to call it a stream. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna need to stop here. I gotta record this reaction video. It's gonna take a while, and then we'll we will post that. We'll get that in your sub box on Monday, tomorrow morning, and yeah. GG's Rams, a hell of a game, a hell of a team. Great season, Bears. You would have loved to see them play one more game, but all good things must come to an end. But I feel like we're seeing something special start to brew in Chicago. Can't wait for what the future holds for this team. You guys are awesome. Have a great night. Bear down. Take care.